Imagine you're learning Cantonese. The teacher tells you to say, "si," and you say, "Okay, si." But she said, "No, try again." Well, she said "si" and I said "si." Isn't that the same thing? Apparently not. In some of the world's languages, a change in pitch can make a whole different word. So in the case of Cantonese, si, 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 si all mean different things. And mistaking si from si might mean that you're mistaking poetry with poop. Now, why do languages make these pitches so similar to each other? Why can't it be something more like si, si? Wouldn't that be so much easier? Why can't we just make these pitch differences bigger and more distinct? Well, it seems logical, but that's not how our voices work. And to understand the reason why, let's take a look at some of the building blocks of how speech sounds are made. We begin by inhaling air into our lungs, and then exhaling air. This air then enters through our vocal folds, creating a buzz-like sound. This buzz encodes information like pitch and loudness. The buzz then enters into our vocal tract, and the shapes that we make with our mouths and our tongues then adds extra information, things like vowels. There we go. And then the sound exits our mouths. And this way of thinking about speech sounds is extremely useful for speech scientists because it can help us determine which parts of our bodies are responsible for which types of speech sounds. But it comes with a catch. This way of thinking about speech suggests that our brains, our mouths, and our ears can easily isolate vowel information from pitch information. And so today I will show you with some data why this is not always true. Vowels are not independent from pitch, but instead vowels can change with pitch. In other words, today I will show you why when you are yelling across the room, you're most likely going to choose the vowel ah, but you're less likely to say ee. Specifically, our voices and ears can't easily separate vowels out at higher pitches. So even speech recognition systems like Siri and Alexa tend to have problems understanding children who speak at higher pitches. And if you like music, you might realize that it's very difficult to hear what the lyrics are at higher pitches, regardless of whether the singer is Ariana Grande or your favorite opera singer. And so I decided to run an experiment with opera singers to study how singers master vowels and pitch together. Now, to figure out what singers do with their tongues to create vowels, we need to look inside their mouths. And luckily, we can do that with ultrasound imaging. The same way as we use ultrasound probes to look for babies inside a mother's womb, we can put the ultrasound probe under speakers' chin to get a sense of what their tongue is doing. We can then trace the contour of their tongue to look at how the shapes of the tongue differs depending on what sounds they're making. And specifically, we're interested in the tongue shape because it's one of the most important determining factors of vowel sounds. So moving your tongue front and back makes a difference in vowels like E and U. So in this experiment, I asked singers to sing a range of vowels like bot, beat, boot, bet, bat, bot across their entire pitch range to see what they're doing. And this is what, on the screen, this is what we see what singers do at their lowest pitches as well as in speech. So as we can see for all of the different vowels, the tongue shape is very, very distinct. But what about for higher pitches? If we add an extra line showing a higher and higher note, we can see that the tongue position is actually slowly changing as the pitch increases. So this goes to say that when the pitch gets very high in the yellow regions, all of the vowels start looking very similar to each other. And we can also stack the different vowels on top of each other to see what's going on. So as we can see at lower pitches, all of the vowels look very different, but at higher pitches, all of the vowels start overlapping with each other. Now that tells us a lot about what the professional singers do. But what about amateurs or non-singers? Well, I ran the same exact experiment with over 20 participants, and I found the exact same thing. Even participants who are not trained singers have the intuition that when they're reaching a higher note, they have to lower their tongue body. So this goes to say that it is part of speakers' knowledge of voice production that pitch and vowels interact as part of an integrated system. And this finding changes how we think about speech science. For many years, the study of pitch and speech has focused on lower-pitched speech. And we've assumed that the way vowels and pitch behave in these voices represents how speech works in general. But what if we're missing half the picture? What if we're overlooking some experiences of certain speaker demographics, like children, or certain speech contexts, like yelling, or sounding very excited, or singing? By expanding the way we study speech, we can build better linguistic theories that truly reflect the diversity of human voices. So what does all of this mean? First, the way we use pitch and vowels is not random. It is shaped by the limits of our voices. Languages have to operate within a pitch range where both vowels and tones can still stay distinct. And so that's why simply exaggerating pitch differences like C and C doesn't actually make things easier. It might make things worse. Second, the sciences can learn a lot from the arts. Musicians have spent centuries mastering techniques about the human voices, having intuitions about problems that speech scientists are only beginning to understand. And so paying attention to what the humanities and the arts and other fields have to offer might help us uncover some new insights that challenge long-held assumptions about how human voices really work. And third, it is important to consider more diverse speech contexts. High-pitched speech isn't rare, from children to public speaking, to yelling, to singing. Understanding how pitch interacts with the rest of language structure is just the beginning. And the more we study real, diverse, natural voices, the better our linguistic theories and speech technology can become. And lastly, next time you're trying to belt out a high note at karaoke, try moving your tongue. It might help you reach that dream high note. Thank you.